Looking for a second consecutive win this year, and of course, the first team ever to travel 160-mile-an-hour lap, Bernie. That's something.
Oh, Jim, I can't tell you that to break that barrier with a boat that Budweiser built, and the Budweiser crew, Tom Deeth did an outstanding job for us.
Tommy Deeth, did you realize that you were doing 160 miles out there when you went out to qualify the first day?
No, I really didn't, and I was probably as shocked as anybody when they told me the numbers. It's incredible to think that you can run 160 miles an hour in a 2-mile course without bank turns.
Is there more in the boat?
Oh, yes, we can definitely go faster. The setup we had was actually pretty conservative.
Here's a look at the qualifying speeds, and you can see Miss Budweiser at 160 and 3 other boats at better than 150 miles an hour, so it's going to be fast.
Only the top 6 boats will get into the finale. They get 400 points for first, 300 for second, 225 for third, and down the line, and only the top 6 point getters will run for the checker flag and the championship here. Now let's take a look at our lineups for Heat 1A. Miss Budweiser, owned by Bernie Little, driven by Tommy Deeth from Fairhaven, Michigan. Mitch Evans will pilot the Cooper boys, Miss Cairo Choice. The whole set, Miss Madison. Mike Hansen, the pilot. Bob Fendler and Steve David team up in a brand new boat. New turbine Arc Construction, and here they come, Dick.
In lane number 1, it's Cairo Choice. Lane number 2, Oh Boy Alberto. Lane number 3, Arc Construction, the Wholesome Miss Madison. And lane number 4, far outside, nearest to you on the screen, taking the start right off of the gun, is the Miss Budweiser. Tom Deeth pulling the red and white beer wagon into the front of the heat, and he looks like he's going to go clean into turn number 1.
On the outside, Dick, he'll keep his RPMs up, hits a little lumps down there as he straightens away for the first down to come down the back chute. Look at the battle for second place between Cairo Choice and on the left of your screen, the Risley Audio whole set Miss Madison.
So Mike Hansen on the outside of the course trying to gain second place as he looks at the tail of the Miss Budweiser. You wonder if Tom Deeth is thinking back to a couple of years ago when he was racing the Gold Cup, having just taken over the seat of the Miss Budweiser. He went over, hit canopy first on the Ohio River, came out of it with no damage to himself, but a lot of damage to the boat.
No doubt about it. Right now, it doesn't seem to bother him. 136.711 mile an hour for lap number 1 for Tommy Deeth.
Good ride for Tom Deeth, but look at the battle still ensuing for second place. Mike Hansen in the Wholesome Miss Madison has it momentarily. Cairo Choice, Mitch Evans, the driver of that boat, right behind him in third place, just about 2 boat lengths off him.
This is the 1988 haul, and Tommy Deeth won the Drivers' Championship in it after taking over for the injured Jim Cropfield after the 1988 Miami race. It's been resurrected and brought back, and he won the Gold Cup in it last race.
So they actually have 2 Miss Budweiser hulls, and this is the one that Tommy Deeth prefers, and this is the hull that Mike Hansen prefers for the Wholesome Miss Madison, also sponsored this weekend by Risley Audio. That's a local sponsorship for that boat here in Evansville, Indiana. Great, great turn for Tom Deeth, and I say great because the boat is holding right onto the water. You can see through the tunnel underneath. Good speeds are being gotten here on the Ohio River, and speeds, Jim, have become the story of this circuit.
136.6 within a tenth of a mile of his lap number 1 speed. As we look at the second place boat, this is Mike Hansen, who moved from Seattle to Madison, Indiana to build this boat into a competitor for 1990.
So Mike now represents a real hometown entry for the folks of the Evansville and Madison, Indiana area. Of course, next week we'll be up in Madison, Indiana, and that boat will have a tremendous following of fans. Still, the lead boat is the Miss Budweiser. Tom Deeth, second place, the Wholesome Miss Madison. Third place now is the Oh Boy Alberto, fighting it out with Cairo Choice, Mitch Evans. So there's quite a bit of battle yet to be decided here on the Ohio River.
Tommy Deeth makes the turn, still averaging over 135 mile an hour. Here's the boat that just a couple of days ago got wet for the first time. A brand new turbine, a Jones Hull, co-owned by Bob Fendler and the driver, Steve David. Still loping along, a lot of testing, but qualified the first time in the water, the first lap at 110 mile an hour plus.
Again, a good shot of the Wholesome Miss Madison as Mike Hansen powers that boat. You'd think with that tremendous engine in there, that aircraft engine, the boat would ride a lot heavier in the water, but you can see when the boat is designed, it is designed to ride light and kind of tiptoe across the top of the water at tremendous speed. Right now, Mike Hansen is doing a good job.
As the Miss Budweiser comes around, the Arc Construction, who gives him plenty of room. Steve David, a very wise driver, driving a brand new boat. He'll have to get the feel of it for a couple of races, as our leader has slowed way down, taking the lumps off of corners number 3 and 4 to come down to complete another lap.
Kind of interesting to point out, too, that the second-place boat here is taking some lumps also, but it's when the boats slow down that they can take a rougher ride than when they're riding across the tops. Tommy Deeth now looking at the start-finish line to get a signal from there as to how many laps remain in this race. He should be getting the green flag coming out this time around. Tommy Deeth in the Miss Budweiser has led since the start of this race. No real competition for him in this particular heat, but it's a long day yet to go.
A long, hot day, I might add, Dick, with close to 100,000 fans on hand in bathing suits, tents over their heads, you name it, a lot of suntan oil.
Miss Budweiser, leader of the race in the final lap now. The green flag marking one more lap to go. Here is your third-place boat. This is the Cairo Choice boat. Mitch Evans driving out of Evansville, Indiana. This is the real hometown entry for this particular race, and he's doing a good job with it.
All right, we're on the final turn coming down, and Dick, the checker flag is waiting at 400 points for Tom Deeth and the Miss Budweiser.
A great sigh of relief, I'm sure, from this crew to see that boat performing that flawlessly in the first heat here on the Ohio River. There's your checkered flag going out for the Miss Budweiser. Tom Deeth comes home the winner. In second place, it will be Mike Hansen, who is now living in Madison, Indiana, just up the river from where we are in Evansville. He's, of course, driving the Holset Miss Madison. And third place will go to the real hometown entry from Evansville, Indiana. That's Mitch Evans driving for Ed Cooper Sr. and Jr. in the Cairo Choice boat. The fans look on. We give you the final results. As you can see, all of the boats finished, led by the Miss Budweiser, second place, Holset Miss Madison. Let's go to the winner's circle and Jim Hendrick.
Okay, guys, you broke the boat yesterday. You got it fixed. Not too shabby.
Well, Budweiser's running great. It's a little rough out there with all those boats out there, but the Ohio River was good to us, so we're happy.
Bernie, yeah, your boat was running a little lighter on the front end of this time.
Yes, it was. That's all up to Tom. He has the controls in the cockpit, and wherever he wants it, he can set it. And he was just technically... Actually, he was running slow at 139, and the Miss Budweiser runs a lot better at 150, and probably in the final heat, that's what he'll have to do.
Do you agree the faster, the smoother?
Yeah, I just softened the ride up because I didn't want to beat the boat up too much, and I just set a pace and just kind of stuck to it.
We'll be back with Heat 1B in the HFC Hydroplane Series from Evansville, Indiana, when we continue in a moment.
Welcome back to Evansville, Indiana, where the order of the day is sunshine, bathing suits, coolers, and suntan lotion. Let's go down to Dick Crippen in the pits.
It has been a bit of a long weekend for the crew of Oh Boy Alberto. Jim Harvey, start out with the turbine engine.
Well, we came to Evansville anticipating to and planning to run the turbine. Dick and the engines were running fine. They'd been tested in Seattle, but the gearbox was unknown. We had to do a lot of modifications to it, and we just didn't get on the water soon enough to maybe sort out some of those problems. And when we did go out, driver was instructed to observe the instruments for the gearbox, and he saw the gearbox was going away, so he shut it down. And it was very emotional yesterday when we couldn't get the turbine running, and there was a half a dozen people from other teams, very competitive teams, here to help if they could help. There was nothing they could do or we could do to save the turbine program for this week. But we will be back next week in Madison with the turbine.
Now the starting lineups for Heat 1B. Miss Circus Circus, driven by Chip Hanauer. Mr. Pringles, George Woods Jr. at the wheel. Paddock Pools with Jerry Hopp. Winston Eagle, the boat that won here last year. Steve Boomer, the owner, Jim Cropfell, the driver.
Lewis Bakery's Heat number 1B, and on the inside track at Circus Circus. Second in the lead right now is Winston Eagle, and the third lane as the Jeff presents Mr. Pringles. On the far outside, it is the Paddock Pools boat. Look at him come down in. It's Winston Eagle in the lead, but watch out for Circus Circus on the inside. Chip Hanauer powers on into turn number 1, takes the lead. He has got the pink and white lady out in front.
We have a battle coming off the exit pin. 1, 2, 3. Look at this. And now the Winston Eagle drops back in between. The Mr. Pringles on the outside and Circus Circus in the straightaway on the inside.
And as Jim told you in the lineup introduction of these boats, the Winston Eagle hull is the one that won last year with Larry Lauterbach as the driver. But here's the hull that is dominating. Whoa, bouncing out of the water with it is the Circus boat. Chip Hanauer, the driver, and he's got himself a run. Look at second place, the battle happening there. Nearest to you on the left of your screen, it is the Chip Presents Mr. Pringles. It is the Winston Eagle in the middle, and those two boats are battling it out in a little individual race of their own as both try to catch the leader.
1988, this boat, driven by Chip Hanauer, won his 7th consecutive Gold Cup on this very river. That was back 2 years ago, 1988.
Maybe those memories are in his mind now as he powers the Pink Lady in the first place in this Heat 1B. Second place in battling the Chip Presents Mr. Pringles, Winston Eagle, Jim Kropfeld, who's feeling a lot better in the older hull. This is the older hull, not the one that they ran in the first 2 races this year. They decided to go back to this hull because they knew it better. They wanted to get competitive on the circuit, and certainly they are. Now we see why he's in second place. Chip Presents Mr. Pringles is down on the course.
Tough break for George Woods Jr. They had that boat running really good. They worked very, very hard all off-season, and so far here this year, they're going to be a contender. Meanwhile, your leader, Chip Hanauer. Chip's, a big favorite here to the crowd. And you know why? He used to drive the Atlas Van Lines, and they're based right here. So he is a hometown favorite driver.
As a matter of fact, O.H. Frisbee is usually in the crowd here at Evansville, Indiana, and every year is at the awards banquet to present some of the trophies and such to the winning drivers. Still a big supporter of unlimited hydroplane. But on the Ohio River off Evansville, Indiana, there you can see some of the Kentucky fans. The Pink Lady, the Miss Circus, goes streaking by. There's the Paddock Pool boat. That's driven by Jerry Hopp. You know, this is one of the boats that a lot of the fans like to root for because this is a team that really fights it every week to get the boat competitive, to get up there in the field and try to qualify it for the championship heats.
Might like to remind you that we're watching 2 states. On the starting lot, front chute, we're in Indiana. On the back chute is the state of Kentucky.
And you saw the Miss Circus passing up Paddock Pools and putting Jerry Hopp a lap down. A good run again for the Miss Circus. Now, you'll notice Chip Hanauer is keeping his speed up a little bit higher than Tommy Deeth did in the first heat. He's trying to keep a good ride for the lady. Meanwhile, in second place, I know Jim Kropfeld feels a lot better there than he did in the first couple of races when he was fighting it all the way in the Winston Eagle. He is still getting used to this ride. This is actually the first time he has been in that boat. As we look down on the course from the helicopter high above, you can see the Winston Eagle of Jim Kropfeld as it passes up Jerry Hopp in the Paddock Pools. Moving under the shadow of a cloud, but out in the bright sunlight in first place, it is the Pink Lady, Miss Circus, Chip Hanauer, and he's getting himself a great ride. He is about to come home for the green flag to signify one more lap to go. Chip has got to feel good about it, but he knows that his challenge is yet to come. He is not matched out against the Miss Budweiser and already had a threat from the Winston Eagle.
It's amazing, Dick Crippen, that this boat that rides so well, and of course it's a credit to the driver and the crew led by Dave Vilwalk, that this boat looked like it would never race again after flipping in Syracuse last year. Looked like it was in 3 pieces. They put it back together. It's a top competitor.
They had a tremendous off-season program, and they tried to develop some new things for the boat, and so far they seem to be working very well, and we're going to find out a little bit later this afternoon when they match out in the championship heat just how the Circus can compete at extremely high speeds. Meanwhile, still a little bit of an experimental ride for Jim Kropfeld in the Winston Eagle, second place, and here comes the checkered flag out now for the Miss Circus, Chip Hanauer. He makes the final turn on the Ohio River course at Evansville, Indiana. There goes the checkered flag out. He waves and acknowledges it. Chip Hanauer, winner of Heat 1B in Evansville, Indiana, in the Miss Circus.
Average winning speed 138.224 miles an hour for Chip.
Second place will be Jim Kropfeld in Steve Woomer's Winston Eagle. A good ride for Jim, one that I know he has to feel much better about because he's had a tough start to the season.
Now, here's the start of the race at turn number 1. On the left of your screen, you see how Circus Chip Hanauer takes a short way around the course, takes the lead away from the Winston Eagle and Mr. Pringles coming off of corner number 2. Circus fans very happy with the outcome. Here's the standings for Heat 1B. Let's go to Dick Crippen.
Well, Chip, that's one heat out of the way. You got a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, actually less pressure than I thought. We got the bad draw. This week we've seen more parity than we've seen all year with three of us qualifying within, I think, 2 miles an hour of each other. And we ended up with the guys with a lot of parity, and I feel good to come out of it with a win.
How's the river doing out there?
It's rougher than it looks. It kind of surprised me. When I got to the first corner, I hit a big hole going in. The boat took a pretty good leap, and that caught me by surprise.
All right, you continue through this afternoon now. You know there's still a job to be done here.
I know there's a job to be done. I know it's hot, and I know it's not going to be easy, but it never is.